Hi, my name is Chelsea Wonderly, and I am going to be presenting my nursing philosophy. We'll start off by asking how exactly one defines a nurse. Is there an international or even a national standard? Florence Nightingale, who is often regarded as the founder of modern nursing, believed that the very elements of nursing are all but unknown. She argued that it wasn't just a woman that made a nurse, it was the ability to care for a patient and their needs to the best of their capacity. The American Nurses Association defines nursing as the protection, promotion, and optimization of health and abilities, prevention of illness and injury, facilitation of healing, alleviation of suffering through diagnosis and treatment of human response, and advocacy in the care of individuals, families, groups, communities, and populations. The International Council for Nurses, the World Health Organization, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development all have their own set definition of nurse, so there isn't even an international consensus. If you were to ask me what a nurse is, I think it would take longer than the time limit the speech is meant to have, but I can give it my best shot. I think what makes a nurse is almost entirely based on their core values and beliefs. Not just what society encourages, but what they genuinely believe is right and moral. They have to naturally appreciate human dignity, protecting their patients' rights, patient advocacy, respect, and the need for emotional care as well as physical. Florence Nightingale emphasized the term nursing was too often attributed to signify little more than the administration of medicines and the application of pulses. And I agree. Too often, nurses are thought of as a smaller part of the healing process, when in fact they're the ones that set the entire stage. I believe nurses can and should be expected to be experts in their fields through authority, accountability, and responsibility. In order to have authority, maintain accountability, and act responsibly, nurses need to acquire and master skills and knowledge that pertain directly to their care. They need to be able to react logically, but also emotionally, in order to treat the entirety of an issue. A patient is not just their illness, and an illness doesn't have to just be one singular cause. It is imperative that nurses understand the benefits to treating patients holistically as well as medicinally. Nursing is one of the most difficult careers a person can choose, not just physically, but mentally as well. They encounter situations that only the most tenacious souls can overcome. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the educational system to make sure that those entering the profession are as well informed as possible. And because the healthcare system is constantly adapting and advancing, it is imperative that nurses continue their education. Were they to neglect this, they would put their patients' lives in danger, which is the opposite goal of a professional nurse. In order to maintain an up to date education, nursing research and evidence based practice play a major role. How would we know, for instance, the necessity of washing hands to control infection without the evidence based research that established that need? All nurses can attest to the benefits of research and evidence based practice as the simple act of applying those practices to their environment and therefore appreciating the improvement in patient outcomes. The ethical principles that guide my nursing practice include the aforementioned natural inclinations to, above all, prioritize the needs of the patient, to do no harm, to apply research based material in order to advocate for the best results, and to take responsibility for the patients whom rely upon us as caretakers. Not only is our responsibility towards the patients, but it is towards ourselves, our coworkers, and our fellow humans. High quality nursing care, and truly medical care in general, is a basic human right. No one should have to suffer in silence because they can't afford medical care. It is the nurse's ethical inclination to speak up and support those who cannot support themselves. This is not only applying to patients, but also our coworkers and superiors. We should be able to rely on one another for support because really, only a nurse or someone who has been a nurse knows what we're going through, as they've probably gone through it themselves. The most important thing about nursing is the individual and the treatment they require. Not any one patient is the same, no matter their illness, background, race, or religion. Everyone deserves to be treated from their personal perspective. Once we start lumping every patient together under their diseases, we take away their singular experiences, and our care as a whole reflects that degradation. I define myself as a nurse, but more importantly, as an individual. Should all nurses maintain specific qualities like respect, advocacy, morality, and both emotional and logical intelligence? Yeah, I think so. But for myself personally, I would define myself as a nurse who genuinely cares about the entire well being of my patients. There are no false smiles or faked attention from me, but an honest interest in my patients and that absolutely authentic enthusiasm for my patients' welfare. Thank you so much for listening.